Please call them in. We'd like to start as soon as possible so that we can get along with the rest of the day as per the time that is sort of in our schedule. And thank you again for being here early morning on time. We will just start in the next 10 to 20 minutes. We've deliberately kept the start of the youth orientation and youth congress one day before the main event because we wanted to actually have a special emphasis on young people who are attending this as delegates and ensure that you're all able to engage with the congress completely with empowered kind of an understanding of what all is happening over here and bring the whole scale of work that you all have been involved in to this Congress and add to the discussions. So today is a half a day of orientation for all the young people who've come here, and we'll go over that plan. But first, just to introduce myself, my name is Manak. I head the YP Foundation. We are a consortium partner with this Congress and have co-organized the youth track of this Congress. So anything to do with thematic sessions and a whole bunch of things that are organized especially for young people. We are all going to be in a youth hub, which is in co-meeting room 5. And you can find us. We will, through the day today, introduce the team that is working on this and the point persons for different things that are happening. So welcome everybody to this Congress. And without sort of, giving too long a speech or anything right now, I would just like to first introduce to you Dr. Susan Sawyer, who is the president of the International Association for Adolescent Health, who is here, and so welcome to you to India, and handing over to you to welcome everybody and talk a little bit more about the association.
Thanks, Manik. Good morning all. As Manik said, my name's Susan, and I'm from Australia, where I'm a paediatrician, and I'm delighted and very proud, I must say, in looking out at so many young people who are here at the conference to be president of the International Association for Adolescent Health. IAAH, as it's known, is celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. But I think from my perspective, the clock starts ticking now, by which I mean that as an organisation, I think we now have an opportunity to really engage with young people, and this organisation is way ahead of its time. Right from when it started 30 years ago, it was really keen to be engaging young people in its world congresses. But I think in terms of the clock starting to tick now, the question I have for all of you, and I'd be delighted if you want to come and speak to me at any time throughout the Congress, apart from 5 minutes before when I'm meant to be doing something serious when I'll be a bit anxious, will be, how do you want to be involved? What could this organisation do for young people in your part of the world, in your region, for your organisation, whether that's an organisation of medical students, young people, professional organisations, volunteers, that doesn't matter. So we are open for ideas. The way that we work as an organisation is that we split up the world according to 9 regions. So we have 9 regional vice presidents. And one of the things that I'm really keen to do is to think about how we might think of some youth participation in relation to those regions. This will be virtual. We have very little money as an organisation. The funds that have been provided to bring you all here are from philanthropy, for which we're incredibly grateful. But I think there are some really exciting opportunities ahead of us. So I just want to thank you for coming, for sharing your expertise with us over the next few days. I'm so pleased that you are so diverse in the countries you come from, in the expertise you bring as young people. And I suppose there's one more thing that I would, actually a couple more things. One is, do not be shy. There's, you're among over 1,000 people here, and there's 125 young people. But if you've got questions, ask them. If you want to speak to any of the plenary speakers or keynote speakers, just go up to them afterwards or make a time to speak. Do not feel that your voice is any less important than anyone else's. And then finally, I have asked Jason Nagata, who's a youth trainee in the adolescent medicine program at the University of California in San Francisco, who can't be here at this meeting this morning, to lead a group of 3 young people to help me, as the incoming president of IAAH, think about youth participation more within the organisation. So I know that he's going to be speaking with Sonali and Manak later on over these 3 days, and we'll be really trying to explicitly help us think through a little bit more. So beyond me and beyond sharing ideas with Sonali and Manak, I'll be really pleased for you to be sharing some thoughts with Jason when he gets to the meeting. Okay. Anything else I should say, Manak? Sonali, is there anything you think I should say? Okay, enjoy your next few days here.
Thank you so much. And it is really heartening for us also to hear that there is a big focus on having young people participate meaningfully and equally in this Congress. And thank you very much for that to IAAH. As Susan said, the idea is that young people should feel fully empowered to participate equally in this Congress. And so it is completely up to you to make use of this opportunity to walk up to people, meet them, speak to them whenever you want. And if you want any help facilitating that conversation, find us in the Youth Hub. We will definitely help you out to organize that. With that, I would like to invite Dr. Sunil Mehra, who is the head of Mamta, which is the organization that has put together this entire Congress over here. So thank you, Dr. Mehra, for this opportunity, for everybody who's been invited, and we're all here, and would like you to just address everybody and introduce Mamta and the Congress.
Thank you, Manak, and heartiest welcome to you all to this town, to Delhi, the power of this country, this power center for this country. It is absolutely delightful to see young people coming here, having worked with young people for the last 25 years, and to see youth participating at a level of which is supposed to be quote-unquote technical meetings, and young people coming and sharing what they think is important for us to deliver, and what is that they don't want us to deliver as much, right? What they feel, this is not what we want from you. So I think get going on this, get charged, get into the mindset to say we are here to contribute, we are here to take back, and we are here to say what we feel like. So we need to push that point across as much as possible while we are here. At the same time, I think it's important also to see that you develop some kind of harmony between yourself, know each other better, so that we create a global platform for all young people to be together, exchanging notes with themselves, and from one part of the world to the other part of the world, there is sharing of thoughts, sharing of messages, sharing of information. This is something which we need to do collectively, and we should work together in the future to see that this group of 100, 125 people who are here of the young and youth around get together on a platform and work with each other so that they can collectively have a much stronger voice than in 2, 3, 5 people from an individual country. So get collective, get together, push the boundaries, tell us what you want us to do, exchange anything that you feel we should be doing differently in this meeting. It will be very nice for the Youth Hub to come back and say what happens. Ultimately, we'll all look forward to your charter, the youth charter. We will really look forward to all of you coming back to us and presenting the charter to us. And I really feel nice that you're all here, and hope you have a wonderful stay. Hope the team at Mamta and other partners are able to take care of you well. Any challenges, please catch hold of Sonali and others in the team whom you will identify as team from Mamta and the others from the partners. And if there's anything else that I can do, please also catch on me as and when you want us to do. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Have a wonderful stay, have a wonderful meeting, and have wonderful interaction with you all. Thank you very much.
Hello. Thank you so much, Dr. Mehra. This is much easier. I feel less daunted by not having to stand over there. Thank you so much again for organizing this opportunity for everybody who's here. And once again, welcome to everybody, all of you. When you came in, you all saw some themes that you had signed up for beforehand written out on the desks in little placards. We have tried to organize some introductions and conversations before the Congress when all of you were in one or the other email loop, but for those who came in a little late, there are some placards on the tables that have names of themes that you might have signed up for. And it would be good if you find your particular theme and sit on the desk, because during the orientation program today, we will have some room for introductions, face-to-face introductions of people who you might have been speaking to on email. Before that, would just like to introduce the team that has been working to put together this entire program, and also the point people for different things during the entire Congress. So my name again is Manak. I head the YP Foundation, and we have co-organized the youth track of the Congress. So for any sort of information on what are the thematic sessions where the youth track activities are happening and how they're organized, you can definitely come to me or to a bunch of my colleagues from YP, Esther. You will also meet them during the program today. Esther Moraes, Ria Chabla, Shruti Arora. Shruti, Esther, and Ria have sort of worked on organizing this entire Congress from the YP Foundation side and are in charge of different things that are happening, and we will take you all through that today. And would like to invite Sonali from Mamta to introduce her team as well. They are the other force behind organizing this.
Hi, a very big hello to all of you. I have been speaking and interacting to you guys over the emails, over the phone, over the WhatsApp, and it's really very good to see you all in person today here. And I feel that we all will be having a very good time during the conference, and it's very nice, and I welcome you all here in India. Yes, I will like my team members to give their short introduction to you all, so that you all can have a sense like who all are there to take care of yours in the youth hub and youth engagement activities.
Hi, good morning everybody. My name is Leena, and I'm also one of the organizers. You can connect with me. I'll be staying in Red Fox, so all of you all who are staying in Red Fox can seek any help at the hotel or in the Congress anytime. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Neeraj, so you can reach out to me because I'll be most of the time here and there, so you can anytime can get me in touch with. So thank you. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Sumit, and I'm one of the members of youth engagement team, and I will be around and at IBIS. Anyone require anything can reach out to me.
Welcome. Hi, welcome. I'm Fayyaz Akhtar, and I'm in the youth engagement team, and you can approach me anytime when you need any kind of clarification or help. Thank you.
So we're also trying to catch up on time because we started a bit late. People were still streaming in at the registrations. We had kept some time for all of you who are sort of sitting around the themes that you had signed up for to introduce yourselves to each other and know about the work that other people who have come and signed up for those particular themes are doing. We have about 10 minutes for that. Do you think that would be useful? And everybody already knows each other. Would that be useful? We have about 10 minutes. It would be interesting and useful for us if you can take 10 minutes and on each table come up with one important thing about the issue that you had signed up for in the Congress that you would like to share with everybody else. One important thing that you think should be highlighted at this Congress around the theme that you work on, that you had been interested to follow at the Congress. If you can have some discussions along with introducing yourselves to each other on the table in the next 10 minutes. And we'll have to stick to that time, so I will keep reminding you of the time. Apologies for that. But if you can do quick introductions and come up with one thing around that theme that you think is important to take note of as we go into a whole range of deeper discussions on all of these themes in this Congress. Yeah, so we have about 10 minutes for that right now. sorry, we are really short on time, and we want to sort of make good use of the orientation time that we have. But if you want to just discuss even some key priority areas around your theme that you want to highlight, so about 4 minutes to go. So if you can complete the introductions and then narrow down on what you would like to highlight about your theme for this Congress. Guys, everybody, is everybody good to start the sharing right now? I'm going to go to one table and move the mic along. So if everybody can now start listening to what each table is sharing, that would be very, very useful. Everybody will be able to share effectively. Thank you. So I'm going to start with the table here. The theme here is sexual reproductive health and rights. That's the theme for this particular table, and I'm going to ask them to start the sharing. If everybody can listen in. Hi, guys. If everybody can now just listen in to each table one by one, it would be useful because people are sharing. It would be useful when you are sharing for you to be heard. So I'm going to pass the mic now. Thank you so much. I think the three things that you highlighted, especially two of them around access to information and then access to services, and how adolescents can access these two things are very important concerns, and you find them also represented in many of the thematic sessions that are happening across, and we will use those soon. Thank you guys for sharing. I'm going to go to the table here, which is working on adolescent health priorities in humanitarian settings. So everybody can pay attention here.
My name is Iaah from Syria, Bangladesh. We are into adolescent health in humanitarian cities. So we just talk about it. But humanitarian settings is health and well-being of affected adolescents and youth is the ultimate goal of humanitarian settings. That. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Both very important. And the intersection of mental health in humanitarian settings, I think, is a very significant one that we should keep in mind. With that, actually, I'll make an easy segue into the group discussing mental health and well-being, and maybe they can share and add to what was just said. Where is the group working on it?
exactly what we were talking about. How, first of all, the information regarding mental health should be there, and how a common person who does not have any knowledge should know the basic things about mental health and not recognize when someone needs help. Then how the current scenario is affecting people and affecting the adolescents, because like she said, cyberbullying, social media, it's an upcoming thing and people don't know how to deal with that situation. And most importantly, trying to talk about mental health, because that is the biggest, especially in India, we don't talk about mental health. It's just completely shunned or blamed on superstitious things, which is not the answer to that problem. So talking about that, and I'll give it over to my teammate to discuss it further.
Well, actually, we've summarized our discussion in the latest statement. Mental health wears multiple masks, and it's always okay to talk about it.
Thank you so much. And this is actually, thank you for bringing this up, because this is also the theme of one of the sessions that around mental health issues at the Congress. A session called It's Okay to Talk. And I think talking and making taboo is the first thing around mental health. So thank you for bringing that up. With that, I'll move to discussing competence and sexuality education.
Hi everyone, this is Arshpreet Kaur, Youth Representative with Democratic Association of India. I'm with the group Comprehensive Sexuality Education. So while discussing, we have jotted some points, which are, I will start talking about comprehensive sexuality education with in respect to my own country. So actually in India, we are really not comfortable with the word sexuality. We have a problem with every word, which starts from the word sex. So even we don't say openly, comprehensive sexuality education. So even in my organization and a lot of other organizations, we are imparting comprehensive sexuality education with the name Adolescent Education Program or Adolescent Education Program Plus. In India, it is not mandatory to impart CSE in the school curriculum. We think it should be mandatory in schools, because whatever we learn at a very young age, we almost remember it for our whole lives. So it can make our lives healthy and better. And second thing, as the name says, comprehensive, it should be inclusive. We should also take care of young people with disability and marginalized sections of societies, vulnerable sections of societies as well. And since I made the first point that it should be mandatory in schools, so comprehensive sexuality education should be age appropriate. Like to a 5-year-old, we can teach what is good touch, what is bad touch. So it will help us, in dealing with the lesser number of abuse cases. And the next thing we discussed was safe abortion. While we impart CSE, some organizations involve safe abortion component in the CSE and some don't. So we think it should be necessary. It should be made necessary or mandatory to include safe abortion as well. Because of lack of knowledge, young people often end up with the unintended pregnancies. So that's it. Is there anyone who wants to talk? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline. It was really going back to what the other people shared around access to information, back again. And very correctly pointed out, sexuality itself is a taboo for many of the countries that we come from. And it is a taboo in different ways in many countries that are actually thinking how to work on adolescent health. And I know that there are sessions on comprehensive sexuality education, on starting conversations around sexuality, and a satellite session on addressing adolescent sexuality specifically. So we would look out for those during the Congress. The table here actually has a coalition of two themes. One is non-communicable diseases and one is substance abuse. So moving to your table and would be really
Some of us joined the group just now, and you will say there are theme-wise we have distributed the teams. So whichever theme was yours, which you had chosen upon, you can join the team and can join that team.
Very good morning, everyone. My name is Rasuna and I am from India. So we have two themes here. One is non-communicable
Hello, good morning everyone. I'm Daniel Mendonça from India, and I basically belong to the community. I'm an intersex. Talking about sexual orientation and gender identity all over the world, there is no place in the matter of discrimination that happens for the gender minority community all over the world. When we look at whether sexual health, mental health, factors that affect the LGBTIQ plus community are more. And when it comes to accessibility of health services or accessibility of even staying as human beings, there is a big question mark because there are blockages that stop people understanding people of different gender orientation and gender identity. So when we were talking about in our group about sexual orientation and gender identity and relating to the various aspects of health, we came to the conclusion that it has affected all of our lives as personally. And so this issue becomes very personal to us in terms of discussing. Because somewhere or the other, whether health settings, whether public settings, or whether services, we all have faced discrimination. And we came up with a slogan saying that we have faced the discrimination, not with the future health for all. Because we believe that a future generation that comes in with the LGBTIQ plus community have to be an inclusive structure where all can get accessibility to all kinds of needs. Anyone else will do next one?
Good morning. I'm Saddam from Surface Mumbai. I work as a capacity development officer in Surface, and we work for a project which is based on optimism, like man who has sex with men. And basically, it's mostly for gay men. So, when we take the report, it's seen that the government we are talking about health, it's seen that HIV/AIDS percentage among gay men and transgenders in India, overall it is 0.26% overall HIV infection. But when we see with MSM, gay men, it is 3.3%. And for transgenders, it is more than 8%. So you can see that how the healthcare settings and sexual orientation and gender identity, which we are saying, according to our sexuality and sexual orientation, like the discrimination we face in healthcare settings, not only in healthcare settings, but also in all the settings, like even with the police, even with many other settings, lawyers, you can approach lawyers easily. They have to be community friendly, they have to be sensitized first. So what we do mostly is like we sensitize the healthcare settings, the doctors, the counselors, the nurses, everybody. We sensitize them, we provide training to them, and through this Congress, what I am hoping is like I can get in touch with other people who are not from the community also, and I really appreciate IAH, then Mamta, and other partners who has like given us this topic of sexual orientation and gender identity, so that we can raise this question to international level. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for highlighting these important things. And it would be good in the Congress to think about how adolescence is also the phase when your identity is developing and how that intersects with issues of sexual orientation and gender identity as a health concern. And immediately from that, if you're working on HIV/AIDS, maybe you can also add to what they said.
Hi everybody, my name is Yvonne and I'm from Kenya. So we were looking into the HIV and AIDS thematic area. As we all know that this year or this time we have many adolescents that have been seen in the world than any other time. So, and we've been working on this issue of HIV and AIDS for the last 30 years, and we've made some small progress, but not so much. And when it comes to adolescents, we realize that there are new infections happening at the adolescent level. And we've had also interventions that we thought that are working, but at times they don't work. Is it because of the strategy? Is it because of the tools that we're using that are not working? So we decided to come up with a theme that says, let us enable adolescents to protect themselves and become advocates of HIV and AIDS prevention and
Hi everyone, my name is Kshitij and I am a peer educator with the YP. So for me, I would like to say that the work that we do in context with HIV/AIDS, it should be intersectional because HIV/AIDS as a whole gets divided into a lot of things when it comes to the LGBTQ community and when it comes to women, when it comes to religion, when it comes to culture, like it gets broken into very small pieces and they become like sort of invisible. And also the thing that I want to say is most of the people they don't know what's the difference between HIV and AIDS. People like the CAC paper said, people don't want to talk about sex, and when they don't want to talk about sex, how could they know about HIV and AIDS? And that's very important to make the curriculum more inclusive and more intersectional.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hamis Mohammed from Mombasa, Kenya. To add on our points on HIV, the issue of discrimination among adolescents, most of our region is the disclosure of adolescents is at a very late stage, and this contributes a lot to stigma amongst ourselves, and also contributes to death of adolescents at a very young age. Thank you.
Thank you so much for bringing that out. I think there are specific sessions also on both SOGI and HIV/AIDS and through the Congress. And the other important point coming from here around the fact that who sets the agenda on adolescent health? Do young people and adolescents themselves have the space to set that agenda, or are they only targeted by different interventions designed by other people? There is actually a thematic track on this and a session happening tomorrow, in fact, two sessions happening on this tomorrow. So do look up for those also. And that's also a concern for all of us to think about through this Congress. Who is setting the agenda? Who has the power to decide what goes into health programming, into adolescents, figure in there or not? And then coming in last, but importantly, to a theme which is actually cross-cutting across the other themes that we talked about so far, which is about gender-based violence. So coming to you guys.
Hi everyone, my name is Emma Jackson. I'm from the University of California, San Diego, and we kind of just had a general conversation about what we want to focus and think about under the theme of gender-based violence. And the first thing we want to recognize is that violence can be both mental and physical. It's often not visible, so we want to make sure that we're looking at all forms of violence, both visible and invisible. We talked about substance abuse and how that can drive many forms of violence. We want to focus on laws and punishments, both globally and locally, that exist for perpetrators of violence and how we can improve those and add to those. And we also want to really drive the point that gender-based violence is inclusive of all types of sexual orientations and gender identities. It's not just a male and a female. And finally, we want to look at the underlying social causes and beliefs of gender-based violence and how we can address those and change those locally and globally. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think all of these, as I said, are cross-cutting concerns across different themes, and I think this whole important area of we understand violence as a health issue. Why talk about violence in a context which is about adolescent health? I think that's also an important thing for us to think about, from how the health system can respond to issues of violence. Thank you very much. I know time is very short and it was like a very, very quick introduction. Hopefully, over the next 3 days, everybody will get more time to meet everybody else who's here, not just on your table, but on other tables as well, and interact in thematic sessions in different spaces that are organized. And so to introduce what all is on the agenda and what all you can look forward to is the next part of the SOGI education program, so that everybody knows what all they can navigate and understand in the Congress. Just one quick announcement before that from Guru Kini later. We have actually organized the room according to themes that all the youth delegates must have received
वाले को बुलाओ, पर्सन को। नहीं, ये वाले। ये कहाँ है इसमें? Okay.
These are the themes that you might find on the videos. They're also on the
Screen
over here. So you can find the theme that you might be interested in and join that video. That will be great for the rest of the discussions. Thank you.
एक बात बताओ, ये जो थीम्स हैं इसमें खोलना प्राइवेट डालना करेक्शन
थीम्स क्या ये फाइनली तो वो
हमने दो ये करी थी ना वो इसमें एनसीडी में ना वो मर्ज नहीं है तो वी हैव टू अनाउंस इट एनसीडी इंक्लूडिंग अच्छा ठीक है they'll see NCD and they'll go okay fine okay so if somebody wants to go under substance abuse they should choose upon this na this
yeah and we've got three tables for NCD and substance abuse so you will find those themes on the same table just to make that confusion. Thank you for being around.
उसके बाद ना हमको टेबल वाइज अपडेटेड लिस्ट चाहिए होगी आई विल रोटेट वन पेपर ऑन ईच टेबल कंट्री रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर एंड नेम बिकॉज वील अपडेट द लिस्ट ताकि हमें कल सेशंस के लिए कितना लोड है किसमें पता चल पाएगा ना आई विल डू दैट ओके
So just to give everybody a very quick introduction to what to expect in the Congress, these are some of the things that we want to go over in this session. Just to have everybody understanding how to navigate this Congress with many activities, parallel activities happening all together. We will go over what is happening in the main Congress track, what are the thematic sessions in the youth section that we look forward to finding, the skill building workshops that are organized later today, the youth hub, which is actually a physical space, also a networking space, what can happen, what can we expect from youth hub, how you can take the benefit of being here, using the youth hub activities, and a unit charter. So one of the questions I asked to all the youth delegates beforehand was on, have you had experience of drafting charters beforehand? And that's something we will be doing across the Congress. There will be a more detailed introduction to that later today. And these are some of the main themes that we all look forward to. I'm looking forward to Esther and Sumit to keep this sharing. So if you see both Sumit from Amta and Esther from the White Foundation, who are also point person scholars, so we will do all of these one by one. So Sumit, inviting you to talk about main topics.
Hi, good morning everyone. Welcome. This is a great experience for us to have you all with us, and it's also a learning card for us to get all to know all these issues which are here and challenges. And it's like privilege for me to be part of this whole thing and part of the youth engagement. Right. We'll walk through the main thing, like hero characters, immunizations, and debate. These are everyday and these are, every one of us should participate in this. The details of these are provided to you and you all have in this booklet in your hands. It has a detailed agenda item which is happening what time, but the immunizations, the keynotes, and debates is a must for all of us, and to be part of it. The debate thing, if you can participate in that, it's in the debate mode. The inaugural session, which is today evening, Friday, right? So please be with us, the inaugural part of that. We have a network dinner that is on 28th evening, so please be part of it. We can talk on various issues with the funders, there will be everyone. Everything's open to everyone, so we can talk to anyone on that. We have the closing on 29th evening from 2:30. So these are the main areas. We have skill building workshops, which is today afternoon. So these are from the thematic areas, the people, the participants list has been displayed in the youth hub. Youth hub is meeting room 5, which is downstairs
open to everybody. You can attend whichever one you want. If you look at the youth booklet, which is here, and if it's not in your docket, you will find it at the Youth Hub. It has all of the information about the sessions, when they will happen, who the facilitators are, who the speakers are. Some of them come from among you. So, that should be exciting. Some of them will also be parallel sessions, so they will be had around between 11:30 to 1:30 and between 3 to 6. Between those times, every day, these sessions will be happening. You can decide which ones you would like to attend and look at the schedules, look at the main schedule, see what you would like to see according to the plenary, the debates, the scientific sessions and the youth sessions, and then decide where you want to go. Just so you know, there will be some that will be happening parallel to each other. So you may miss out on one youth session if you're in another youth session. The details of the speakers are given on the youth booklet. It has all of the details, including what the sessions are actually going to be about. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, you can come to all of us who are at the Youth Hub who will introduce you.
Booklets are placed.
Youth Hub, you will be having the connection for the Wi-Fi, and hotel in your room you must be having. But yes, other than these two zones, I guess there is no Wi-Fi available. In the hotel it is. In the hall it is not there.
strong body, and that's how the youth needs to develop themselves. That's what I would like to say on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So if everybody can think on key phrases, thank you for sharing, around what does adolescence mean? What does it imply? What are characteristics of adolescence?
Hi everyone, I'm Eric from the Philippines, and what comes to mind when I hear the word adolescent is partners. This is the high time that we should treat adolescents as partners in adolescent health programming and not just as mere beneficiaries of what we do. When we look at all the thematic areas, we should think of them as how they can incorporate their thoughts and ideas, not just we're doing this because of them. We should be doing this with them. Thank you.
When we talk about that one particular thing that comes to our mind when we say adolescence is menstrual hygiene and pre-menarche awareness for me. I've been working over past 7 or 8 months on this issue, and trust me, the field work that I've done, the field visits that I've undertaken, almost 80% more than that of the girls, they start menstruation without being aware of what it is. And this is very scary because then their practices, the hygiene practices that they follow, they tend to be very, they are very risky behaviors that girls have if they are not aware. So there's still a lot of hesitation when it comes to menstruation. As the group over there for talking about comprehensive sexuality education, they said about unsafe abortions. Unsafe abortions is one thing, plus menstruation, because parents don't talk about it. Who talks about menstruation? Why should we? It's just a normal process. We need to talk about it because it's just as normal as our digestive system is, that we fail to understand. So this is one thing. So I say it's the time that we end the hesitation regarding menstruation.
Thank you. I think two things I take from there. One is that adolescence.
Thank you. My name is Ray from Indonesia. The first thing comes up into my mind related to adolescent is searching. So the adolescent will ask so many things about themselves and then asking about everything, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's who am I. So we have to provide what they need and then answer all of the questions that they have to fulfill to find who really they really are. Maybe just that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's fairly significant. That's very significant. It's also a phase when we are really figuring out who am I, what is my identity, how do I think of myself vis-a-vis everything else that is happening in the world. So it's a phase of searching your own identity.
Thank you. My name is Mizanur Rahman. I'm from Sirak, Bangladesh. I think adolescence is in 18 years old, maybe. But main thing is child marriage is very important thing for adolescents. In the world, there are many problems about child marriages. So we need to prevent child marriage for adolescents. It's important. Thank you.
As for me, when I hear the word adolescents, I look at young people who are not only undergoing physical changes, but also emotional and psychological changes. This is also a group that is vulnerable, that is often ignored, and looked into as young people who don't know anything or are not important in these types of conversation. And I think it's the high time that we really actively and meaningfully involve adolescents, not just say it, but do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So it's also a phase when young people are vulnerable and very correctly pointed out, not just physical but emotional changes in attitude and searching your own identity, as earlier was said. So important to keep all of that in mind and address vulnerabilities that might come with this phase of life and include adolescence meaningfully in the work that we do.
Thank you very much. My name is Kawogo Janvier. I'm from Rwanda. When I hear about adolescent,
it's basically a future generation of leaders and policymakers. So it's high time that we get empowered and involved in the action of combating all those issues that affect us as adolescents and young people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that contribution as well. Very quickly now going to the others because we have very less time. Here and here and then.
Hi, I'm Avril Khosla from Sheesh University. I wanted to point out that the drugs are a major portion that covers in adolescence. It is the age where one gets attracted towards drugs rather than studying meditation and all. So one has to have a fixed focus where he has to go, and drugs are not the thing which can take them out from the mental sickness. Meditation is the one thing that can take them out. Thank you.
Thank you. So as pointed out, it's also a phase when you are sort of going into new experiences, and also a phase when maybe you take more risks, where you are, like we said, more vulnerable. There are new things that are sort of attractive to you, and then you make choices, not always the best choices sometimes, or not always the most informed choices.
Okay, thank you. I'm Sushil Thapa from Nepal. So I would like to say adolescence is the phase of experiment. As he said that they want to try many things in that age. So they started using drugs and all those things, and they will started doing, behaving like, they were like, they want to try new things. So I would like to say adolescence is the age of experiment.
The age of experimenting. Very correct. It's the stage of experimenting, new experiences, searching for yourself and outside as well. We want to be there.
Hello everyone again. So yeah, as Mr. Thapa has rightly said, like I also wanted to say about the thing that when adolescence comes, it's about mostly about experimentation. And one thing which I see is like when the phase comes, it's like people are more naive and ignorant, and they don't know about the right way, which way to go. And here what we can intervene is like providing safe sex education. Like I'm not saying in terms of like LGBT or anybody, but for everybody. When they comes in terms with their sexuality and gender identity, sexual identity, like sex education is a very important thing, because for HIV/AIDS also, for STIs also, like these are a very important thing which has been a big issue in the world.
Thank you. So, two people there are the last three responses I'll make after that one, because in the interest of time.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Anmol from India, and one thing that I like to point out is certain lack of conversations at the younger age. I feel because there's lack of conversation at the school level, there's a lack of sensitivity and respect in general that I feel as we keep on growing. What we also need to recognize is that we grow, each individual grows very differently. And so calling adolescence, of course, as a phase of changes, mental, physical, everybody experiences them differently, I feel. And because that is happening, we somewhere tend not accepting such differences really easily, which is really, which might create oppressive environments for children or adolescents at extremely young ages, which does really affect mental health in general. And I feel what can only kind of maybe address that a bit is conversations around that. And I hope like maybe we can chalk something around that and talk about it.
Absolutely. Correctly pointed out, it's an age where you want to be heard, but you're not always heard, and an age where diversity needs to be emphasized, because everybody does grow up differently, and that needs to be kept.
Hi, I'm Tanya, I'm from India. The word that comes to my mind when we talk about adolescent is transient. It is a phase when a person moves from high school to from middle school to high school. Also, the person has a lot of puberty related issues. So a person really requires a lot of attention, not just from family members, from school, from counselors, and from other places as well. And if that particular person belongs to a country or a region which is facing war, maybe at some other humanitarian settings, if a country is facing war, not just that, a natural disaster or something like that, then the entire focus shifts from the adolescents to generally the fight for survival. So at that point of time, the entire generation loses a very important access to health, which should be there, which should be the focus of the entire country. But humanitarian settings, the focus shifts to general survival. So I think we need to focus a lot on adolescents, particularly to that countries.
Relevant for many of our countries which are dealing with conflict, not just because of natural disasters, but ongoing conflicts. There are conflict zones that are marked out, and so looking at adolescent health there, and very correctly, as you said, just to highlight the phase of transitions, many kinds of transitions, physical, emotional, attitudinal, and like outside of yourself, transitions from school, going to school, new experiences that many people have picked up. Here, there was a hand here, and here, and then that's the last two that I will take.
Hello everyone, I'm Riya Mishra from India. And the first word that came in my mind that after hearing the word adolescent was in a positive way that individual get mature also, in a sense that it analyzes that what is wrong and what's right for it individual. Thanks.
So learning to take decisions, learning to actually understand and then take some kind of informed decisions might be something that starts in this place.
My name is Tameher from Egypt. I think when we tell the adolescent health, it's very important to awareness the young people about the changing in their bodies, this is first. And the second, how to fall free time in this period, because it's very dangerous if they didn't follow the period. Thank you.
Just change, again, change is something that everybody highlighting. I think the last and then there is enough time for everybody also to have more discussions.
Thank you. John Paul Noe from Uganda. From an educationist perspective, when you talk about adolescent, what comes into my mind is this is a stage in life that someone needs to discover. What should be clearly pointed out is to educate, have them in a direction that will benefit them, both to a level of the future, career-wise, that will build them. So I believe if once we address such issues, there is a proverb in my language that says, once a tree is bent when still young, it will grow up as it bends. I could put it in my language, but I cannot. Most of you won't understand. But the point I'm trying to make is we need to educate. Once they learn from our experiences, or once we educate them in the right way, we shall have a bright future for every adolescent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and that's a really good summing up. Like, this is also one of the key things that is being discussed around adolescent health right now. The long-term consequences of the work that is put into young people and adolescent health priorities. What are the long-term impacts on health? What are the long-term impacts on attitudes that develop during this phase is something that is very critical to working on adolescent health in the long term. And that's a really good point at which to end this particular discussion right now. We can go back to the PowerPoint. And
Je connais pas par cœur le speech, j'ai juste écrit tout, non? Ah, la caméra est là.
Over to you guys. Everybody is going to attention here. We can start with the presentation.
Hello. Okay, so for us, we've seen good health like a big development between social, mental, and physical points. There's three aspects. So for first, social. Inside we put relationship, we put culture, we put external factors like economy, informations, and services. We also, about the second aspect, mental health. We spoke about meditation, because here in India it's quite important, as I've heard. We spoke about body conscious, we spoke about knowledge, we spoke about emotions. About the physical aspect, we spoke about physical activity and also good food, good nutrition. So all these aspects have more examples to add, and it's important to notice that they are all linked, and only all together we can speak about a good health, and a good health is not only the absence of disease. You need to have these three aspects, and as they are all linked, for example, we can find a bond between physical and mental points, which is a sentence: a healthy mind can carry a weak body, but a strong body can carry a weak mind. Thank you.
Hello everyone. In our view, a good health is a state in which a person is mentally, physically sound with its surrounding environment, contemplating day-to-day activities and aspiring his or her inner self by maintaining positive attitude towards these surrounding problems. And my friend will walk through the important aspect of the point, which is the physically well-being, not merely with the absence of disease or deformity, or in hygiene and productivity with social well-being, in which it can relate to social acceptance, freedom from stigma or discrimination, equity, equality, and healthy relationships. On aspect of mental well-being, it's coping with the stress, with positive attitude, self-satisfaction, and self-recognition, with self-esteem, and not to do self-harm, and freedom to express his or her opinion in his or on herself. Thank you.
So, what is good health? Most of the things were already mentioned by these two tables, the interconnectivity of the physical, mental, and the social well-being, and what are the different, the things that constitute the physical well-being, the mental, and the social well-being. Apart from that, what we think is that good health also means being able to take decisions for our own body. We have that knowledge, we have that background so that we can take decisions for our own body, the healthy decisions that we can take for our own body. And also, good health is having right on our own bodies. When it comes to health, when it comes to, for example, when it comes to pregnancy, how a woman deals with it, it should be the sole decision of the woman, the bearer of the pregnancy. She should have the decision if she wants to have the pregnancy, she wants to have the baby or not. When it comes to menstruation, the girls, she should be aware, she should be made aware about the things that constitute menstruation and what are the things to deal with it, what are the options, and that girl should have access to those healthcare when it comes to menstruation. So these are the things that constitute good health. And if anyone wants to add something. Yeah, done.
The adolescent health can also be the range of approaches to treat, prevent, and detect the young people's health for further well-being. So it can be one thing, like treating for the sexual abuse or substance abuse, and detecting what, for example, is emotional health for depression. So in a total for his well-being of the adolescent. Okay. Thank you.
Hello, friends. So there's a big question, who is responsible? Who is responsible for the good adolescent health? We have summarized into 3 groups, that is self, family and friends, community and policy makers, and information providers. So I should start with the self. Self means like one should have that opportunity to see what is the problem. Basically, is it a problem or is it a challenge that we are facing? Like, how can we improve our mental health? Can it be through meditation? Can it be through good food, good environment? So self is the one who is mainly responsible for the one's good adolescent health. So the second comes family and friends. The second strata is the one who is a person when he is exposed to the family and friends. That is the first thing he is exposed. So the family is the main building part of the mental health. Like, what are the teachings taught by them is responsible for family and friends. Then the community and policy makers that I would like them to explain.
Right, so the next point is the community and the policy makers. So the community plays a huge role in shaping a person's mind. The community that you belong to will also influence your thinking. So that could be one of the things, they play a huge role. Then the next will be the policy makers, people who are designing the education system, people who are making the policies for the adolescents. Are they keeping it under consideration that they're shaping it for them, how their policies are influencing the adolescents? And then information providers. We need responsible information providers because information is the currency, and kids, especially adolescents, what they're doing is they're seeking for information online or through books or through other people. And if we do not have the right kind of information, it can lead to very bad circumstances. So information providers play a huge role. Any of my other teammates who would like to add to it?
In this picture, just want to add more her idea. I mean that we talking about micro level, meso level, and macro level. When we talking the responsibility for the people that God have, we need to focus on the individual, community, and meso level. They're talking about the policy maker that should be considering about the healthcare and any information for provide to the people in the country. Yeah.
So all in all, who is responsible? It is actually the community itself. So everybody plays a big role, and it is a shared responsibility of everyone. Thank you.
Hello. So good morning, everyone. Very good point from the other group. The exact term would be shared responsibility, and we totally agree with that in this group. In our graph, the adolescents are in the center because they are the people we are addressing in terms of service delivery. And we believe that all these other sectors are indispensable, and they come together in giving good quality healthcare. So we have the education sector, religious institutions, and family under the social sector. We have media, government sector, and non-government sectors. At the same time, it's acknowledging and knowing your privilege as an individual. And I will give it to my friend to explain that part.
Yeah, so taking on from that, talking about how certain societies constantly interact, like societies within themselves interact, and specifically with respect to the Southeast Asian countries, there have been multiple social stratifications that we've seen, and so identities such as caste identities or class identities, we feel that people who have been born into a privileged setting or a more privileged environment than the others kind of also need to take responsibility in addressing adolescent health in a particular way. Besides that, of course, media. When we're talking about media, there needs to be an informed representation of different with respect to our thematic, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, there needs to be that particular information which is not, which doesn't promote assumption, which isn't misleading, that doesn't, of course, that in return does not lead to further oppressions for adolescents who might identify with different sexual orientations, gender identities, and all of that. And one very important point about the government sector and the non-government sector, because we do live in a state society, we constantly interact with the constitution, we're negotiating with that. So somewhere government, which also claims to provide a more inclusive and better environment for all the people living inside of it, the government needs to make certain programs, maybe programs led by NGOs and or in association with NGOs, so that there's also distribution of information not only to the adolescents but also to people who they live with. So maybe certain people who might have family, maybe we need to kind of also inform the families. At the school level, of course, the teachers, the staff, then maybe the non-teaching staff, I mean, everybody who we keep interacting with on a daily basis. Because this is something that all newborns at some point will go through. So constantly, adolescence is going to be that phase, is going to be that confusion that maybe people will keep facing constantly, and in India specifically, being like the population, how the population is currently on the rise, I don't know why, but because of that, we also need to kind of see, like we need to accommodate ideas. We also need to accommodate differences. So one more thing with respect to religious institutions, how they kind of want to constantly govern adolescent health, specifically with respect to menstrual hygiene or maybe menstruation or and the misconceptions around that. And so abolition of religion might not be the easiest thing to do, but I mean, religious leaders taking certain responsibility, informed responsibility, and not, you know, spread such, how do I put it? Lies, as Utpal says. So yeah, I think that would be it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, adding another layer to what is said, how do we build mindset for the role of institution specific? And moving with that to the third talking about the question of who is responsible for good policy.
And there is camera behind us. What? The camera.
Yeah, actually, from our team, from our group, actually same with the others group, but we more colorful. And actually we make like the ecological picture, and we start from the adolescent itself, who is the responsibility for adolescent's good health. It's absolutely business of everyone's. But in here we can make the circles close with the adolescents, who's the very impact to the adolescent itself. It's okay. I see enough. Okay. So the very close with the adolescent itself is a family. Family, parents, dad and moms, and also from school's teacher and friends, absolutely. And we also put the social media user. Why the social media user is also impact for the adolescents right now, because of social media also influence or give impact to the lifestyle of the adolescent itself. They see how the social media can give like a mental impact to the mental illness, like cyberbullying or something like that, and also like a food or consumption foods lifestyle or something like that. So social media is very close with the adolescent itself and have a big impact to the adolescent's health. And also in the next circle, we put some NGO, CSO, and also faith-based organization and religious leaders to tackle the barriers of the religious norm and social norms. And also we put the UN agency, and mass media also have a role important role, and also law and the governance, and health services. Health services also have a important role to make sure that adolescents have the good health. And in the next circle, we just have the health systems and educational systems, social norms, and religious norms. And we also emphasize in our group, is we're talking about, besides just awareness about the good health to the adolescents' health, we also encourage them and encourage the adolescents to have their right to decisions, have to control their own body. So that besides just awareness about good health, we also encourage the adolescents to have the right decision of their body. There's anyone? So thank you.
Thank you so much. Very interesting, almost every group is bringing up mass media and the role of media in responsibility for good health. And particularly in the era of ICTs, when we look at what are innovative solutions to expanding health outcomes for different categories of people, particularly adolescents. I think this role of media and all the other stakeholders that you all highlighted in your presentation. Interestingly, almost all of you chose this kind of concentric circles to look at different responsibility holders on good health, and very clearly summed up in the last presentation who said it was everyone in the center. Thank you. So moving over, we've already discussed how do we understand good health and look at who is responsible for good health. And the third section on how are we doing this? How do we make sure adolescents are healthy? How do we make sure good health exists in different countries? So examples that these groups put down. Over to you guys.
So hello everyone, I'm Shweta Mahato from Nepal. So in our group discussion, we've decided that one representative from each country will be describing about the existing systems and structures for accountability. So talking about Nepal, there are good policies and strategies in place, like adolescent-friendly services are available in all of the government facilities. There are various strata of health facilities, like the basic one is health post. So all of the family planning services and abortion services are free. So there's basically a good legal backup in Nepal. However, there's a social pull. That is, to sum up, we have a legal push and a social pull. So even though we have good structures in place, the implementation varies according to motivation of the health service provider, and also how his or her understanding of sexuality is. Likewise, we have a curriculum of comprehensive sexuality education in place at the government level, but again, implementation varies because the teachers are reluctant to teach. They prefer teaching only the non-threatening factors like family planning or pregnancy. They do not prefer talking about like uttering the word sexuality in a good, in a positive way. So there's a big loophole in implementation. Also, there are a lot of NGOs and INGOs who are doing a very good work at the implementation level. However, all of them are concentrated in certain places, so that does not ensure a holistic coverage. So I think there are certain non-negotiables that are missing in our country, like the government is not proactive enough to ensure good monitoring and evaluation of the activities of NGOs and other CSOs. Also, although we have good strategies in place, the government officials and the government itself is not accountable to ensure that the implementation is in a good manner and in an effective manner. So yes, that's about Nepal.
Thank you. And we have mentioned that we have rules and policies also, and government has some of the government health posts are providing such services for adolescent health, but you will see no adolescent were going to those health posts and getting services because of lack of orientation, proper orientation about their services they get from those places. So I think one of the main reason to not to get health services from health post is lack of orientation about the services they get from the health post. Okay.
Hi again, this is Arishpreet from India.
I would be talking about the government programs running for adolescents in India. The first one is adolescent education program. Like in the beginning, I told you we are not comfortable with the word sexuality, so we are implementing CSC with the name adolescent education. But this program is not much comprehensive. That's why NGOs, civil societies, and other key stakeholders are imparting comprehensive sexuality education. With, like in my organization, we are doing it with the name Adolescent Education Program Plus. We are trying to make it more comprehensive. Adolescent education program, which is, a part of government plan. It aims to empower young people with age-appropriate and culturally relevant information about sexuality. And the second one is Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram. It's a recent program which was initiated in 2014. It targets groups from 10 to 19 years. Basically, it aims at providing nutrition, improve sexual and reproductive health and rights, enhance mental health, and prevent substance abuse. In this program, we have collaborated with other ministries and state governments. The third one is very popular one. It's called ARSH, Adolescent Reproductive and Sexual Health. It is also for 10 to 19 years of young people. It aims at promoting condoms, counseling for emergency contraceptive pills, information on SRHR, safe abortion, treatment of RTI, STI, and periodic health checkup, and organizing community camps. So overall, I would like to conclude about India is, we are really, really good at policy formulation or policy making, but where we lack is policy implementation. And in the recent years, there has been constantly cuts in the annual budget. So we need to devote more for the health sector during our launch of annual budget. That's it.
Okay, my name is Eunice and I'm from Ghana. And in Ghana, we do have government bodies, especially some set for young people that take care of adolescent health. And we do have the Family Health Division from the Ghana Health Service that take care of adolescent health issues. We also do have the National Youth Authority. We do have the National Population Council. All these have adolescents in their work and in their strategies. And we also do have NGOs and international NGOs also supporting adolescent health activities. So in some of these strategies, we do have policies to train health workers and health providers to provide youth-friendly services for adolescents in every area, and they are doing really well. So we do have a lot of adolescents taking up contraceptives and also coming out for services and other reproductive health services. Yeah, so that's for Ghana. Thank you.
I think in every country it's quite the same. Yeah, I want to add something. I'm from Indonesia. We have the same problems. In Indonesia, we have a lot of policy related to reproductive health and young people, but the biggest problem is about implementation. For example, we have youth-friendly services in every primary healthcare in every province. But in Indonesia, we have 34 provinces and a lot of islands. But so the implementation is very difficult. So we cannot find. Wait for a few minutes. Yeah, for the implementation, it's not easy to access for family planning, safe abortion, and also when we talk about sexuality, when we talk about gender-based violence, when we talk about sexual orientation, it's very difficult because it's very taboo. Even we talk about sexual orientation, we should. Some people say that you should growing up, and the government say that it's not really important for young people. So. The biggest problem is about implementation because so many policy, so many NGO working on that, but the linkage between NGOs, government, and others is not really good. Not really good. Still weak. So we have to make sure that every program, every policy can implement it well. Thank you.
Mohammed Essam from Egypt. I'll be very concise about the services in Egypt because it's very concise. In Egypt, for the implementation part, we have youth-friendly clinics. It's run by Ministry of Health in collaboration with UNFPA Egypt. But it's very few, numbers are very few, not covering all of the places. I think 5 governorates out of 29 governorates. And for the civil society organizations, they are working on raising awareness about adolescent health and other problems facing them. For the policy, we still have in Egypt, it's not allowed for young people under 18 years old to go for services, especially reproductive health services. Even contraception, it's not allowed for them because they need a parent consent. And also for unmarried girl, it's not allowed. You just have to be married and over 18. That's what I have.
Okay, hi, my name is Brian, I'm from Kenya. Kenya has a very pragmatic and progressive sexual reproductive health rights policy that was formulated in 2016. And it targets adolescents between the age of 10 to 19. When it comes to the commitment of the health of this target group, the Kenyan government has proposed that adolescents who are in schools should be given, especially girls, should be given menstrual pads for their periods to enhance their health, and it should be for free. And also, this target group, those who are infected with HIV and AIDS, the policy recommends that they should receive ARV drugs, antiretroviral drugs for free, which the program is already on. However, the Kenyan government does not formally admit that adolescents between 10 to 18, despite the fact that adolescents are categorized between 10 to 19, the Kenyan government does not recognize adolescents between 10 to 18 to be indulging in intimacy or sex. So for that matter, the adolescents between 10 to 18 are not, easily accessible to modern contraceptives like condoms and pills and all that. But adolescents who are 18 and 19 can easily access condoms and other modern contraceptives. And also, this policy has obviously, skipped population at risk adolescents. We are talking of sex workers who are between 18 to 19, and also the gender minorities. This policy has obviously, neglected them. And these gender minorities or population at risk young people are very, very vital in combating HIV and AIDS. But the Kenyan government has blindly objected them. But this policy is really nice, but it's recommended that the population at risk should be included, and also the issue of 10 to 18 young people should also be, that dialogue should be brought on the table to know if they're indulging in sex or not. And according to findings, this very, very high rate of HIV infection between this 10 to 18 from last year, that new infections that were recorded. So obviously the Kenyan government is lying. Thank you.
Not go too much into details of the programs, but share a little bit about what exactly is the structure that is designed for accountability, and there will be more time to get into challenges and whether it's working or not. So keep those but just sharing it with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Frank from Burundi. So what we have done for our group is we have seen that for most of our countries, we don't have specific program related to adolescent health. But what we have found as common is there are structures, system, which are Ministry of Health, Gender Ministry, Youth Ministry, Education Ministry, and Human Resources, and Ministry of Gender from some countries. But there are other initiatives which are non-governmental. We have NGOs, community-based organizations, civil society organization, corporate social responsibility and institution with social responsibility. We have also philanthropic organization and youth and volunteers. But you can see that there's no barrier, there's no custom between governmental and non-governmental initiatives. And after that, we can have public and private partnerships. So as examples from governmental systems, we have had policies, for example, initiatives of research, but in civil society organization and NGOs and other organizations, we have also some initiatives that, for example, in India, they talked about the distribution of pads for young girls, for example. In Burundi, we have national alcohol policy, for example. We are also working on tobacco control law, which has law already. In Sri Lanka, they talked about national policy on drug, for example. So we have also other initiatives from philanthropic organizations like Bloomberg Philanthropy, Melinda and Gates Initiative, things like that. So, but finally, what we have as results, and which is good, it's public and private partnership. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much also for laying out this framework on how partnerships work, what examples are.
John Paul No is my name. What I would say about what are the systems of accountability to ensure good health. To ensure good health, I would talk about proper governance. All this accountability is looked at. If we have proper governance, we can ensure transparency, proper record keeping, and ensure that everyone is answerable. So all the PPP, the triple P that you saw, all comes under all these aspects. Talking about governance, transparency, to ensure transparency, proper keeping, and being organizations being responsible or being answerable to whatever activities or programs that they run. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Firstly, the system that is accountable for ensuring good health for adolescents is we ourselves, because most of us fall under the age group category of maybe 21 or less out here. So we are the role models for our younger adolescents age groups. What we have been passed through that age phase, they have been passing through that too. If we teach them what is good and what is bad, I think they can lead to a good track. Families and peers. Coming on to that, families these days in India especially, there are a lot of conservative families with following a lot of traditional cultures. They do not know about the open communication patterns that children usually look for. In this conference, a lot of people have spoken about condoms and contraceptive measures, but in Indian families, if we talk about it, we simply get kicked out of the house. And the third is teachers. Primary schools and everybody in India, they teach SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, because they make them aware of all the, all the implications that the UN usually, to make them aware of what is happening in the happening in the world and what are the measures that can be taken, what are the policies, framework. The next is medical professionals, because they are the ones who are going to take the action against any kind of problem in adolescent, may it be any kind of, any patient. So there should be regular checkups by a medical professional as well. And the next is the social media, because they are the ones who provide information to everybody and they create awareness. So thank you, that's all.
is the system that will ensure good adolescent health in the country? I think these are very, very important questions and thoughts that everybody has put out to go into all the sessions of the Congress. I think it's important for us to, the idea here, with having very little time for these deliberations, was that we start off some of these thought processes for everybody in this space, and that these go into each of the sessions that you attend in the Congress. Because the reason for investing in young people being here at this Congress as delegates, in ensuring that young people have a voice, have a say, and have work in advance to really be able to participate in these discussions, is that this is the group that actually closest to adolescents. And we have a group of adolescents also attending the Congress regularly. So to have this group actually lead the discussions in different spaces on adolescent health, on adolescent health priorities, and really shape those discussions in this Congress. And like Dr. said in the morning, in future work with IAH on ensuring that their priorities include voices of young people and adolescents themselves in setting adolescent health agendas is an important part of what this Congress aims to do and what White may not have attempted to bring to this Congress and the work that goes from here. I think to sort of capture some of the nuances and also give an example, we invited actually Gigi here, who is part of the partnership for maternal and child health. She's the board chair of the youth constituency there, and this group has actually developed a mechanism which ensures that young people are able to understand the many things that you have said around, whose responsibility it is, how do we look at data, how do we really get information and understand that information, and then use it to hold other stakeholders accountable for adolescent health priorities and work that's actually done. So without saying too much about that, I'm going to invite Gigi to share this example of how different systems and structures can be held accountable and how young people can actually take a greater role in that.
Thank you very much. Feel free to give me a round of applause. Hello, everybody. How are you? Hello? Why are you guys sad? It's like there aren't young people in the room. Hello? How are you? I'm sure there are adolescents here. Hello? How are you? You're hungry. It's understandable. Fantastic. So, as the moderator has already said, my name is Gigi. The longer version is Hohon Tlajang. I'll give you a prize if you can learn how to pronounce it. And with the Partnership for Maternal, Newborn and Child Health, Adolescent and Youth Constituency. And we have a slogan there that we always start the presentation with. And it's known to be a revolution slogan, but it says Viva, okay? So when I say a Viva, you need to follow through with a Viva as well. Do you catch? Great. So, Viva young people, Viva! It needs to have more energy. It just works that way better. So, Viva young people, Viva! Viva adolescents, Viva! Viva young people, Viva! Viva adolescents, Viva! Fantastic, great. So, I've got like 5 minutes, and so I'm going to just quickly run through this, and if you want more elaborate details, you can either come to me or go to Suvnik, who's the India focal person for the advocacy toolkit, and you can learn more about that. So basically what I'm going to talk about is firstly the adolescent and youth constituency of the PMNCH. So about 2 years ago, a decision was taken by the Global Partnership for Maternal, Newborn and Child Health that we need to include young people more meaningful in decision making so that we don't just consult them during meetings, but they're part and parcel of every process, decision making at the high level, implementation, and are involved in all mechanisms that include deciding on adolescent and young people's health priorities at the global level. So the partnership decided to establish an 8th constituency, which is the adolescent and youth constituency of the partnership, and we've got 2 board seats at the global level, and we're also part of the executive committee. And we're open for membership. We want to be as strong, and our power as young people comes from our demographic ways. So we need as many members as possible. If you have an organization that is youth-led and youth-serving in your country, no matter how small it is, you're free to apply for membership. We'll have the forms available at the Youth Hub tomorrow, and then you can also access them online on the PMNCH portal to be able to access the networking opportunities and all other opportunities that we may have in the constituency. And as part of one of our big ticket items, we have many different initiatives we're working around with young people all over the world. But today I'll specifically talk about the Advocating for Change for Adolescents toolkit, which we developed in partnership with Women Deliver. And this was launched officially a couple of months ago in Canada during the Adolescent Health Conference that was held there. And basically, we developed this advocacy toolkit through consultation with different youth-led, youth-serving organizations that are members of the partnership. And there are certain countries like Uganda, Malawi, Slovenia, which also did consultations in-country with the network so that it is tailor-made to the needs of young people in that country. It's aligned and is relevant so that it's not very prescriptive. And after consultation, together with Women Deliver, we consolidated that and developed this toolkit, which is basically meant to be a guideline for youth-led organizations on how to conduct advocacy initiatives, for engaging with stakeholders, for building in-country partnerships, to foster accountability for adolescent and young people's health priorities, and overall conducting different implementation initiatives that you may have in your own country. So far, we've decided, we also picked up 5 countries that we're going to be giving seed grants to, and they are going to be rolling out the first initial activities of the advocacy toolkit. And the first thing is that they're going to be domesticating this advocacy toolkit because it's at the global level. So now they're going to make it aligned to their national context and priorities. And the second thing is that they're going to be doing a national advocacy plan. The 5 countries we have picked are Kenya, Malawi, Cameroon. We also have Nigeria, and can you guess which is the last country? India, of course. So these are the 5 countries that will be doing the rollout, initial rollout. But it's not just limited. These are the countries that we're supporting to do the rollout. But if you have a youth-led organization or network and you'd like to also use the advocacy toolkit to conduct your own in-country engagement and accountability initiatives, you're more than welcome to use the toolkit, and we'd like to hear feedback from you on how the toolkit has helped you in your work as an organization. So if you want to find out more about this toolkit, unfortunately we don't have copies right now, but we will have them available at the Youth Hub throughout the conference, so you can pass through there and pick up your copy or as many copies as you can carry. It's also available online from the Women Deliver website, PMNCH, WHO websites, you can find them, as well as forms to be members of the adolescent and youth constituency of PMNCH. So that's briefly and shortly, I think in 5 minutes, in 5 minutes about the toolkit. If you want to find out more, you can either come to me or you can go to Mimi there from PMNCH. There's also Cecilia from Women Deliver back there. And lastly, there's Suvnik, who's the focal person for the AYC in India to find out anything about either AYC or the toolkit. So viva everyone, viva! Viva, viva Gigi, viva! Viva. Thank you.
who is actually responsible, how do you ensure it. But this question of whether adolescent good health or any kind of good health should be a right of citizens has been an important one within conversations on good health work. And I think that's why also one of the hashtags that we shared earlier of right to good health or good health as a right is something that we want to really think around in this Congress. Really take these deliberations on what are responsibility mechanisms, who holds the responsibility, who will hold who accountable. In that question of whether health can really, good health can really be a right, and what does that mean in ensuring the good health of adolescents in different countries. With that, I think the last important bit for us, before we also go into some kind of logistics discussion around taking responsibility for making sure that thematic work is happening and that's being followed, is something that we learned from the beginning of free and earlier in the Congress work around charter. If you all remember that we mentioned of a youth-led charter on adolescent and youth health, that we do want to develop across the different tracks of this Congress as a side work that we have taken up. You already got some of you have got emails who have been registered as youth delegates, who have got emails talking about this charter. And the idea here, like I said earlier, is that this is a constituency that is closest to being the target audience of these interventions. Then this constituency must get space to really formally articulate what they feel should be priorities in terms of working on adolescent health and youth health. And communicating that in a formal way, seeking endorsements from different organizations across the world, because this is what we young people attending this conference, this important sort of moment in adolescent health work feel. And this is what we feel should be prioritized, this is what we feel should be funded, and this is what we feel we want to put ours behind. And so we introduce that whole track of work across the Congress, my colleague Shovik, who's the CEO of to introduce that type of work, what will be happening and how it's organized across the 4 days that you're here. And hand over to Shovik.
Thank you, Manu, for the introduction and also. Hi everyone, how are you? Yeah, so like Manu pointed out, the importance of the youth charter, like so many young people and few adolescents as well as convened together from all across the world. And this is a great opportunity we really want to use, that what young people want the priorities should be. Like it should be what evidence says and also from their lived experience and everything. So we are using a participatory and a bottom-up approach so that we can consolidate and work together to form a declaration kind of what we call a youth charter. So that's read out during the closing ceremony. And focusing that little bit on what are the areas which usually gets left out, like falls off the map, and areas where we want the donors, even the governments to finance or to invest in. So with this focus, mostly the youth charter is going to be made. So a little bit about more of the process, like just to give a background that all of you have divided yourselves, like self-selected different thematic areas. So based on your experience, interest, work area. So this has been also like strategically thought out because there are a lot of areas, it's a broad domain adolescent health. So that we can have focused discussions and focused recommendations coming around from different thematic areas. So we had to make this separate grouping kind of. So shortly I will ask all of the groups to work together on a worksheet which is coming in a short while. So to kind of figure out the top priorities which you see in your thematic area, and there will be some prompts how to arrive to that priority and what you expect, like how it's backed by evidence on your experiences and what areas can be supplemented by the government or be taken leadership on, and also by other CSOs and other funders. So that is one bit of work. Then we'll from few people, a smaller group of a core committee will be formed as a drafting committee, so that there is an equal representation for all the thematic, 9 thematic tracks delivered, so that everybody's agenda is well represented. And a few of us will be around to just help you with anything needed, with any kind of evidence, any kind of language, or anything. Anything basically from you guys, what but we want that your agendas and your voices being represented, so that is the basic objective of it. And just to take you through a little bit of on the timelines of it, we understand the conference is pretty hectic, but we have to work through this only so that by tonight we can have a little bit an outline of what are the articulations and what are the priorities. And this exercise, which is in 5 minutes, will happen. So that will be also a lead up to that. And then followed by that, like tomorrow, we really want more of a sorted kind of a little bit of a structure so that others can also give comments, feedback, and work towards the finalization of it. So this is a tentative kind of a structure. It may not be followed, so that's up to you people to take the call. The tentative structure is like first we'll build some context around what's the importance of adolescent health in the overall health agenda and how it needs to be especially focused on to build a context around that. And then a few things about meaningful youth engagement. Just like it's not openness, it's just not meaningful enough. So what are the few non-negotiables? That will also be clearly articulated, that what the young people and adolescents want from whoever wants to involve them in a meaningful way. So that will contain one section, and under different all the thematic tracks, like what are the priorities, what would be like when you see the priorities, what is the evidence which is backing up your argument, what are the areas which are usually falling off the map and needs a lot of attention, support. So that will be kind of a section, and based on all these, like how things are being shaped, it might be more sharper recommendations towards the end about what exact things we are asking for the government and the donors to do. So this is just a tentative structure of the draft. It might keep changing, and there from the input channels, everybody can definitely be a part of it. But for a practical reason, we would form a drafting committee, and so that everybody's concerns regarding that thematic area can be channelized through that particular representative. So it's not to just limit your participation, that has been highlighted also while sending out the prompt questions to all the thematic groups as well. That it's not to limit your participation. You can, of course, like somebody from the maybe the NCD's subcommittee can definitely have comments and recommendations on maybe on HLTA. So that's totally fine. And also during the Congress, it's very exciting and very informative things is going around all throughout the day. So people have their own experience, their own interest areas, will meet a lot of new people, get a lot of new knowledge, a lot of new understanding, new perspectives. And it's very much recommended that you all bring all these perspectives, knowledge, and new information back into this charter to enrich it. So that it becomes more comprehensive, gets more stitched into the agenda of the Congress, and it makes a real good sense towards the end and the closing ceremony. So this is kind of rough structure, the rough process around, and the rough timelines around which we'll be working. And shortly we'll be giving you a worksheet to work on. So worksheet is getting ready for the day. So in your groups, you basically have to discuss among yourselves. You already had started a lot of interactions, and it was really interesting to know a few people had shared a lot of great examples from their countries, from their own work, from the project, how usually youth are being involved, and what are being the priorities, what are being the challenges, and everything. So taking these things even more forward, like now coming a little bit more focused towards the youth charter about developing what are the priorities based on all these contexts, what are the priorities which are emerging out of it. So that is basically what we plan to do over the last around next 15 minutes now. So once worksheets are there, we'll just hand it over to you.
Thank you. Sunny, you want to add something? Yeah. Thank you. If there are any questions around logistics or anything else, any other track in the Congress, we have some time to take questions. If there is any confusion, if there is any clarification required on anything around participation in this Congress, you can ask those questions now.
Any questions?
Cool. There's one here in front. Yeah, so the next activity which is coming to you guys, we will just explain it once there is the form on each table. As Shovik mentioned, the idea is that completely by a self-led process from amongst all of you, there is a charter on priorities on youth and adolescent health that gets drafted and released as part of this Congress. And then we look for endorsements from other organizations that are participating organizations. This is the opportunity to actually highlight directly young people's voices on what they think should be done around adolescent health work. Yeah, the structure for that is to have a nominated drafting committee from amongst everybody who is here that will have to work on the sidelines of this Congress to ensure that this draft is completed in a loose structure that we can suggest, but can be completely turned around by the drafting committee if they want. And it is completed with participation from everybody else who is here as a youth delegate in the Congress. So the idea is that this draft will be available for everybody else to look at, comment on, however, on a timeline. There is a table dedicated to this in the Youth Hub where the drafting committee will meet at regular set sort of timings. And you can approach any of us in the Youth Hub, particularly Shovik, who's responsible to sort of take this track to close, to come and look at the draft charter, to make recommendations, to work with the drafting committee if you want, if you are not directly in the drafting committee, but are a youth delegate and a young person in this Congress. Yeah, this process is clear for everybody? Yeah, like I'm hoping that all of you feel that this is a valuable thing to do as part of this Congress. Without that, it's sort of futile. So any feedback into how this can be done, if you think this is valuable or not, would also be most welcome.
So I have a question and demand. What about the skills building workshop? It's, all of us will attend it, or what? Okay.
Shanali can take that.
I am suggesting if we can do a kind of energizers between every an hour and a half, so we can restore the energy, you know? Okay.
So skill building workshops after the lunch break, post lunch break, and you all will be discussing the different skill building workshops, and I definitely encourage you all to participate in that. We had distributed you guys into 5 different skill building workshops as the topics were earlier, displayed here. So post lunch, you all will be getting into those skill building workshops, and they will be really good workshops where you will definitely learn and enhance your skills over the topics in which you will be going to attend those skill building workshops. So you'll get enough time to have some energy back, to regain some energy, and then to be part of those workshops.
And thank you for your suggestion. Would anybody like to lead a quick sort of energizer for the group? If you feel it's important to sort of get back a little bit of more energy and get up from your chairs, would you like to sort of...
I'm not the good one to do it, but I would
if
like
anybody has ideas on, if anybody wants to lead some large group activity, which is also sort of not taking too much time, we are happy sort of to give up this space to anybody who volunteers. Yeah, would you like to sort of lead something? Sure. Do you need a mic there? Yeah. And just to keep it short, also so that we can have a long enough lunch break for everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for that quick and energizing activity. Hope everybody is a little more sort of up in spirits to just get through the next about 15-20 minutes of this group work to start off the drafting committee work. And then we have a break before you guys go into the skill building sessions. So Shavik, if you want to introduce the activity.
One worksheet per table. Okay, fine.
All of you can sit around one thematic table for each team.
Yeah, thematic group members should sit on one table to work on that sheet. In case if you guys have like changed your seating, just come back to your theme tables so that you can work on those tables. If you are sitting already on your theme tables, that's fine.
So please also think about the discussion that we started with on what are key priorities from your theme that you want to share. And maybe you can put it down in a more organized way here and just outline 4 of those priorities that you had initially thought about during the introduction.
more problems pertaining to that. So hence this is our first priority. How can a funder or a donor support this is by conducting capacity building workshops for the resources that are already available. Then by investing in mental health resources to help ministries subsidize these facilities for people. And then finally by increasing the number of trainers. So basically educating more people in this field so that people can receive information everywhere. Then the next priority, physical health. So the reason we chose this as our second priority is because again, due to modern lifestyle, people are now more not taking care of their health. So it is leading to diseases like obesity, diabetes, insomnia, hypertension. So how can a funder or a donor address this is by increasing the knowledge of physical health, first of all. Second, by conducting yoga workshops, fitness camps. Then by promoting healthy food habits. So it's important that these people understand what is a healthy eating habit and how to inculcate those, so information regarding that. And then finally, conducting fitness camps. And then our third priority was availability of quality information and awareness for people, which is whether that is the resource person or for the adolescents. Then the evidence to support this is that social media is acting as a great influencer these days. So to use that more usefully, because adolescents are using social media openly, so to use that more usefully and use creative ways to communicate the information. Then by skill development and capacity building workshops that are increasing, so to invest more in that. So how can a funder or a donor address this is by, first of all, investing in skill development and capacity building workshops, then by identifying the areas that need targeting, whether those are people, whether what kind of resources we require, and then by creating counseling facilities for those places, those people and those resources. Then the most important thing about those counseling facilities is that they should be cordial and an adolescent should feel comfortable approaching them. Then by identifying groups that require these services, and that's pretty much it. So involving adolescents in the dialogue is very important. So asking them, how do you feel comfortable talking about your problems and whatever you're facing? Thank you.
Thank you so much. So does anyone else, any other table wants to, like it's not everybody need not share. I just wanted to do this exercise so that the group comes together and keeps discussing these priorities, and which will be finally reflected in the youth charter. So now we are moving towards I feel I'm eating into your lunch time, so we need to close it fast. So I just wanted to say a little bit about the drafting committee. Can I have all of your attention, please, for 2 minutes? Yeah, so I'm talking just about the drafting committee. So whoever, there will be one person self-selected from each of the thematic groups, so which you guys need to do. That person will kind of represent all of your voices in the drafting committee so that every agenda gets enough priority and all those voices are enough represented. So there are 9 thematic groups, so 9 people will be there, so that has to be nominated. So from you, not nominated, self-selected from among you. So just want to give you a heads up on what would be kind of little bit responsibilities of the persons being nominated. So that person will be kind of have the onus of considering all the suggestions being given out to them, especially in connection to the thematic track that person is representing. And as you have been told in the previous session about navigating the conference, that there will be thematic focus sessions also happening around. So the person from the thematic group who is being nominated or represented, so that person is most strongly recommended to be on these sessions and bring back the kind of the inputs and knowledge from all the other things happening in the Congress. So that is one part, and it will need a little bit of hard work from the whole team together, giving an extra 1-2 hours to meet together to keep discussing, working on that, considering the suggestions from other young people who are giving it, and work on a little tight timelines as I highlighted that by tonight, that drafting committee has to come up a little bit of an outline with these kind of priorities.
what are the priorities, and a little bit of an argument why that has to be a priority, and like how come funders can contribute to this process, how can donors or governments can contribute to this process, little bit on a little specific. Then by tomorrow night, you have to, like the drafting committee is supposed to come up with a little more strong and a structured kind of thing, which after the comments by next day afternoon has to be like almost in the stages of finalization, and a little bit tweaking here and around the language, and things can keep happening. So with that note, I will just leave this to all these groups, maybe for take 2-3 minutes to decide whom you want to represent. Like that person, it's better, it's just suggested, it may not be always, that if that person has an idea of how to work in a drafting committee, that really helps. And then also kind of have a little bit of strength on quickly ideating and writing up things, and also committing to work late hours on this. So with all these kind of criteria, we're just leaving it open to the groups to nominate one person. Maybe we can have them in 3 minutes.
Yeah, as we had shared, this will be a side activity that's happening alongside the Congress. So whoever is in the drafting committee will be required to have those side meetings. There is a designated time in the evening every day. But a little bit of this work will happen apart from everything else that you are doing in the Congress. So please keep that in mind. And whoever wants to nominate themselves, if you have a nomination from the group that you want to put in, if you can put the names and contact, any email address or something at the back of the, have you collected the forms? Yeah, so if you can stay back for like 5 minutes, whoever wants to nominate themselves and be part of this drafting committee, it would be useful, because then we can plan when we are meeting and what is happening as part of this work across the Congress. Yeah, so in like 2 minutes, if you want to nominate yourselves or you have a name from the group that you want, please let us know. Yeah.
Would one person per thematic area be enough, or can we have it, say, 2 per?
Actually, since there are 9 thematic tracks, so it will be then an 18-member committee. So it's not that that person is only the decision maker. That person is the voice in the thematic group. So. Yeah, actually, and we will be having a designated drafting committee table at the Youth Hub. So everyone is much invited and welcome to come up there and keep having the discussion. There, like, even 20, 30, 40 people can sit together and keep discussing. So that's totally fine.
Just to add, the role of the person who's nominated is also going to be to ensure that, they're communicating back the development of this charter to everybody else in the group. So it's also that person's sort of then initiative to ensure that the people in their group have seen the draft of the charter, that they can set a time in the Youth Hub where people come from this particular group and sit and look at the draft and say, okay, around our thematic, what have we put in the charter? Can we look at it together in our group? So that can definitely happen as a side meeting on the charter, coordinated by the nominated member. But for ease and for sort of just, having a 9-member team work on a draft is also going to be a lot of, heated discussion, time-consuming kind of activity, and it requires a lot of coordination. So if we can have ideally 1 member per group, there are about 9 to 10 groups, I think, over here. So 1 member per group, definitely. And if somebody else knows that they want to be closely involved with this drafting charter, then you are most welcome to come to that drafting desk at the Youth Hub to be part of that process, to keep a watch on it and input into it on an ongoing basis. And if somebody is really, really interested and they want to be in addition to the person in their group, then let us know. We will figure out a way to bring you into the whole process. While you're discussing this, there are also a couple of announcements. So before you all go off, we can also do the announcements around logistics and some other information that is key for everybody. You want to do that now? So everybody, if you can pay attention to some of the announcements around participation.
There are just 3 quick announcements. These booklets are available here. I don't know, have all of you got it with you? So you'll just collect it from here. They are available here. The names of the youth delegates who are to attend the sessions, the skill building sessions, they are there in the youth hub, which was announced in the morning, which is downstairs. The names are allocated on the notice board, so please check your names and attend the sessions that you've been allotted. The other one is that we have Madhulika with us, who's the communications manager. You can see she's raising her hand, please. Thank you, Madhulika. Thank you. Madhulika can be contacted at any point of time if any of you want to talk about how your day was in the first half today. What did you learn? You want to give any kind of youth bites or any kind of youth statements. Give a small snippet. Anything, any interactive, which can go on social media with your consent, of course. So Madhulika or any of us in the organization committee can be contacted. The third and the last announcement is you all have got your lunch coupons for today. So any of you who haven't got them as yet can contact the organizers for collecting your lunch coupons. Thanks.
Just to add, especially for this orientation session which we are just going to finish, if anybody from you wants to give some kind of feedback, some kind of suggestions regarding this session, you can just contact Madhulika before leaving for the lunch, maybe for 2-3 minutes. She can have a video bite recorded and can flash it over the social media with your consent. So if you guys want to do that, please before leaving for the lunch, you can meet Madhulika for that. I hope many of you will like to do that, and we really look forward for that. Thank you. Yeah. So please ensure that you you collect this youth hub booklet, youth booklet from here, 1 copy per person, and do visit youth hub to know what is your skill building session topic, and do ensure that you do participate in that session. Thank you.
Additionally, like I said earlier, every day, if you manage to come in early, and we are hoping that you will all manage to come in early, from 8 to 9, we will be at the Youth Hub. If you would like to do something over there, that is your slot to do something. If that's a time that doesn't work for you, we can see, we can try to find something else out, but 8 to 9 is really what you can use, and you can bring more people to come in over there. We'll try and organize some fun things for you to do there as well before the beginning of every day, so that you're prepped and ready to attend the sessions.
What is happening on that day. If around your theme you want to figure out what is happening, you want help to figure out where thematic sessions are happening, where your particular theme will be in focus, we can help you navigate that agenda every day at the Youth Hub in the morning. And both these, you have the agenda. The Youth Hub booklet that we showed that helps you how to navigate the youth thematic sessions is available here. So please take a copy before you leave. And like Sonali said, the skill building sessions, the lists of who has been who is attending which session is up at the Youth Hub. So you'll also get to see where that space is downstairs. All the sessions are happening downstairs only, at the lower ground co-meeting rooms. And locations and the session name is mentioned over there. So please check that out immediately after lunch. 1:30 is when those sessions start.
They will last for 2 hour or 2.5 hours, depending upon the topic. And just to emphasize, today evening we are having inaugural ceremony here in this hall itself. This will be a bigger hall by the evening. So at 5:30 it will start. Just ensure that you all are the part of that inaugural ceremony. So I'm just emphasizing on it so that nobody misses it.
The inaugural ceremony, and so hoping to end with the names of the people who are coming to the drafting committee. All other information is with you, the documents are with you. Have a great time at the Congress, and find any of us if you need help with anything while you're here at the Congress.
Yeah. And one last addition. Just before you leave the room, if you would just like to contact the communications people who have already introduced themselves to you, they're going to be taking videos over here, and you can talk about what your expectations are of the Congress. Maybe you can talk about what you're looking forward to seeing at the Congress and being part of. And it would be great if, you kind of proactively volunteered yourself rather than we came up and spoke to you, because we would feel bad. Thank you.